What's going on, guys? So we're always told by feminists that we have to believe women, that we have to believe any woman who says anything at all and just shut up and not question it. So today I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to be a good little feminist. I'm going to believe the woman who wrote this article. And this article says, "The rise of toxic femininity. Author reveals female colleagues tricked her into making mistakes so she wouldn't be promoted and told her everyone hated her, and insists other women create the real glass ceiling." So you mean it's not men creating the glass ceiling? You mean it's not men, this patriarchy, that's actually preventing women from progressing? That it's actually, in fact, other women? Very interesting. And if you guys haven't seen my previous video called, what was it? Catfights and crying at an all-female workplace, go and check that out. Very, very revealing. Imagine turning up to work every day knowing the person sitting opposite you is doing everything in their power to push you out of your job. Yeah, imagine that. That was the shocking reality for Naomi Joy, a 30-year-old former PR director from London who witnessed and experienced toxic femininity throughout her career. She reveals one female colleague in her 30s once declared everyone in the office hated her, while another tricked her into making a mistake so that she would be favored for a promotion. It eventually led to Naomi quitting her job and penning a book called The Liars, which I've put as the thumbnail of this video. A psychological thriller about two rivals competing for a promotion, inspired by her own shocking experience. While researching her book, she conducted a survey of 1,000 employed British women. And guess what she found? She found that more than half claimed to have been sabotaged at work by another member of the so-called sisterhood. It's all starting to come out now, isn't it, feminists? Been lying and sabotaging your fellow women that you claim to support. While more than a third, or 37%, said that actually felt scared or threatened by a female colleague. Not a male colleague, a female colleague. Imagine that. Women feeling threatened and scared by other female colleagues. That's not what we hear in the mainstream media, is it? But that's the reality. That's the reality of the corporate workplace. Here, Naomi tells Female how she coped with an all-out office war and how you can attempt to break through the sisterhood ceiling. It had been building for a while. So this is her. That looks like this is her talking now, right? It had been building for a while. I'd been walking on eggshells for months, trying not to provoke one particular female colleague prone to passive aggression and making snide remarks. In her early 30s, bright and energetic, she had seemed supportive at first, keen to be friends in the chic PR agency where we worked. Now she'd finally come out with it. "Everyone in this office hates you," she said. "Everyone wants you to leave." Furious, I remember clenching my hands so hard the nails punctured the skin on my hands, drawing blood. And thank you, Ralphie, for that $5 donation. You said women understand each other and that's why they hate each other. They wear masks around everyone, including those close to them. Sadly, so true in so many cases. And what did I do next? Well, nothing, of course. Instead, I tried to placate her. Like so many women would have done in my place. Yet something changed forever that afternoon. It was the beginning of the end of a life lived in the shadow of other women's toxic femininity. By the way, there is nothing toxic about femininity, nor is there anything toxic about masculinity. But for the purpose of this article, since so many feminists want to call toxic or seemingly bad elements of human behavior toxic masculinity, I'm going to call some perceivingly bad elements of female behavior toxic femininity, purely for that case. I don't believe, again, femininity and masculinity are not toxic things at all. just to clear that up. I thought I'd learned my lesson about female rivalry at the very start of my career when, as a young intern, I was fortunate enough to land a dream full-time job at PR and events agency. The boss, right? The boss, a brilliant, rather fierce woman with high arched eyebrows and dark red lips, had decided to give me the position, much to the chagrin of the other female intern, who would have to leave. The girl, who I'll call Tara, or if you spell it backwards, a rat, said nothing to my face, but then she didn't need to. Instead, she made sure I had the wrong information for the following day's photo shoot, while I was too naive to bother checking. I spent the following morning dashing along Oxford Street, hunting for pairs of designer gold heels. Shoeboxes were piled high in my arms, as eyes watering as I stuffed receipts from Manolo Blahnik, Louboutin, and Jimmy Choo into my purse. I hadn't been given a credit card, as juniors were expected to stomach expenses like this and wait a month to be reimbursed. I couldn't afford it. Oh, this is a nasty bitch. I got to the shoot at lunchtime as instructed, bright red and sweating, only to be met with a single brusque question. Where have you been? I looked around to see the cameras were packed up, blow up palm tree props deflated, a pair of bright gold designer heels flung to one side. Tara stood smugly across the room. Like that, I can imagine. Hand covering her mouth. Jaw dropped with faux shock. Pretending to be shocked that she just destroyed this woman's career. I handed the shoes to a woman who had offered me the job, stuttering an explanation. What are these? She snapped. The shoot finished an hour ago. There was no one on hand to fetch coffees. I had to do it myself. Tara got the job instead of me. You know, the intern who was going to lose her job because this girl was actually due to get a promotion because she'd worked hard and earned it. Instead, this conniving, manipulative bitch Tara, the intern who didn't want to lose her internship, decided to sabotage her promotion so she could get the job and stamp on the woman who'd actually done the work to get ahead, rather than, you know, putting in the hard work herself to get ahead. Millions will recognize what I'm talking about. Yes, millions will. Millions of men, millions of women. You know, and the version, see, women sabotage other women, but then they sabotage men with things like Me Too, because that's easier than just making up something, because men are actually too smart, and men will be like, hey, I'm not taking this lying down. This was your responsibility to make sure this was correct, and you gave me the incorrect paperwork, so you're out, intern bitch. But women get shell-shocked, and I get it. Like, it's, you know, it's gonna instantly put most women into an emotional state, and I get it. Just want to thank Ryan Phillips for that $3 donation. He says, if this is a business, then how are they making dollars? Yeah, exactly. Millions will recognize what I'm talking about. Millions of men and women, that world of women who flash you a broad smile as they turn their computers on in the morning, teeth still on show as they huddle into their screens while angrily plotting your demise in secretive emails. These are the women who actively block your path to success if they deem you a threat, or, you know, more successful or more liked than them. Women who, in my experience, create a ceiling far harder to break than a glass one. And much as it pains me to say it, they exist in offices everywhere. I conducted my own survey of 1,000 women in full-time employment in Britain, and a troubling 58% of them told me they'd been sabotaged at some point at work by another member of the so-called sisterhood. There was no bias in terms of age, location, or wealth. It was across the board. My second job took me to some of London's most exciting red carpet occasions. I held vast black umbrellas over the heads of celebrities. I set up events with Olympic athletes and worked on publicity campaigns that made a real difference to people's lives. The culture was much better. Even so, there was one woman who, when my promotion was announced, took me to one side to say I hadn't deserved it. Oh, what a nice colleague from the sisterhood. I had to wait a year to be promoted. You only had to wait 9 months, she said. It's not fair. Her disruption became systematic. She blamed her mistakes on me. She blocked my chances to work on more important projects, spreading rumors that I would probably leave the company soon. That woman, by the way, was supposed to be my mentor. You know, the woman above her. The woman who felt threatened by the fact that this girl was actually better than she was. And despite everything, I wanted to like her. She wasn't the only one. There was a senior colleague who quite incorrectly pointed the finger of blame at me in a crisis meeting. You understand why I had to do that, right? She said afterwards. Gaslighting, of course. I'm the head of this project. If they think I had fucked up, we would have been fired. Thanks for understanding, hun. You're the best. Hun? You just fucked her over, bitch. Who are you calling hun? You manipulative, toxic cow. I put it down to being junior, telling myself that my brilliant, and I'm going to use that term loosely, brilliant female bosses, and they were brilliant, wouldn't want to hear about such petty problems. My female friends agreed. This was just the industry we're in, we said. Things would get better as we moved through the ranks. They didn't. The higher I climbed, the more toxic the female rivalry became. Top PR officers have a few things in common. There are the white walls splashed with vibrant art. The model receptionists, the sound of manicured nails, typing furiously on sleek silver keyboards. You know, the Apple keyboards, because everything's got to be Mac and iPhone, because couldn't have a PC when we're looking that good, right? It's all rather Devil Wears Prada in more ways than one. I was 24 when I landed a job at a boutique PR agency in central London, working with a range of clients in health and beauty. One of my new colleagues stood out amongst the rest. Around my age, she had the confidence to be brusque with juniors, seniors, and clients alike. I liked her. She knew her stuff and she was great at her job. I wanted her to like me. For a while, everything was harmonious until, with the annual review of salaries and promotions on the horizon, things began to change. Oh, there it is. There it is. Things are starting to fall apart again. She started ignoring my emails. She wouldn't take part in team meetings if she thought I'd be running them. In fact, she avoided working with me on anything at all. She started referring to herself as my senior. She tried to find out how much money I was earning per year. She even told a colleague she was keeping a log of the things I did in my free time and that she was determined to make sure I couldn't get ahead of her in any regard. I had laser eye surgery. She bought a new pair of glasses and had a makeover. I had my teeth whitened. She went to the same clinic to have hers done a week later. Her competition with me was so fierce and about so much more than work. And this is it, the rivalry amongst women, particularly at this elite level. This is where it gets really dangerous, really toxic. This is where women are stamping on each other, are stomping each other with their own stilettos. Sometimes literally, but usually just metaphorically, but also sometimes literally, to get ahead of the other. Then after nearly a year came that derisive outburst, the claim that everyone hates me. Childish, yet devastating. I didn't leave the agency right away. Instead, I started writing about what I'd seen and felt, the things that happened to me in offices in London and California, across the ocean from each other, all over the world this is happening. About the repeating pattern of women turning against each other in order to get ahead. 6 months later, I had a literary agent and a 3-book deal. My first novel, The Liars, again, I put The Liars as the thumbnail of this video, launched a few weeks ago. It follows the stories of 2 women, Ava and Jade, each with their own touch of toxicity, who are fighting for the same promotion. Jade is more experienced, but Ava's connections with those in powerful positions make her the front runner for the role. To make matters worse, they both share a secret. One they know will ruin them both if told. Whoa. That's what's called walking on a knife's edge. According to and see, this is the thing, right? Because if Ava gets the promotion, Jade will tell the secret and take both of them down. If Jade gets the promotion, Ava will tell the secret and take both of them down. Because I just seem to see this pattern in corporate female environments everywhere. If I can't have that job, nobody will have that job. And I will take you down with me to make sure that you get punished for getting what I wanted. That seems to be the mindset. And this is what's happening. And yet officers everywhere are saying, oh, we need to have gender quotas. We need more women. No, meritocracy or nothing. According to an academic study in 2016, one of the biggest barriers to female career advancement is other women. Surprise, surprise. The paper, published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, concludes that women are more likely to fall out with female colleagues whom they suspect of trying to elbow them aside on the career ladder than they would with men. And they don't even have to know that a woman's trying to elbow them aside. They just have to feel like this woman's trying to elbow them aside. They just have to feel like this particular individual might have more of an opportunity than them for them to try and take that person down. Lead author Sun Young Lee, an assistant professor at the UCL School of Management, said the findings suggest standard career structures which encourage people to compete for promotion are disadvantageous to women. As a woman who's worked across the world, I've long observed that women take competition with other women much more personally than men take competition with other men. My research provides support to such an observation, Dr. Lee said. Bosses need to be aware that competitive career structures that are effective to men may be detrimental to women. Interesting. Bosses need to be aware, at the same time, women should be aware that taking competition too seriously could be holding them back from leadership positions. and therein lies the absolute paradox, right? So by trying to be more competitive to get the role, it actually gives them a disadvantage to get leadership positions. And then they cry about the pay gap, which is an earnings gap, by the way, not a wage gap. Here we go. The response has been extraordinary. Close friends have shared their own experience. So this is to the book, right? Back to the book. The response has been extraordinary. Close friends have shared their own experience of female rivalry at work. Readers have been in touch to say their lives have been turned upside down by female bullying. Researchers at University College London have explained the phenomenon as the sisterhood ceiling, concluding that while men are buoyed by competition, women report negative emotions, but only when competing with other women. The result they suggest is that some struggle to maintain healthy relationships and adopt a cutthroat approach to other women instead. Evelyn Cotter, a career coach who founded 7 Career Coaching, told me that female clients routinely claim they've been undermined by other women. We know that. I mean, but feminists won't want to hear this. The office is a heightened masculine environment and a system that is not set up for women to flourish and thrive unless they develop more masculine traits, and even then success is not easy. Women subconsciously understand that they start on the back foot. This breeds insecurity, which in turn breeds fear. No, that's just women playing the victim pattern. Stop being a fucking victim, work hard, and get there. So much of this rings true from my own experience in the office. All that fury heaped on women who dare to get ahead. I see my own shortcomings too, because in my heart, I favor niceness and cooperation. Evelyn offers some advice if you're a woman facing this problem. As difficult as it is, take a step back. Tap into those wonderful female traits like empathy, high emotional intelligence. I disagree with that point. And awareness of others. And really look at why this person is behaving like this. If you can get into a conversation with her where you can both speak on an adult basis, that's the challenge, isn't it? You could ask how, instead of using our energy against each other, we could support each other. And as I said the other day, when emotions are up, intelligence is down. Right? You can't have high emotion and high intelligence at the same time. Easier said than done, I know. But however many obstacles we face in the office, toxic femininity shouldn't be one of them. Yeah, you're right, it shouldn't be one of them, but it is as long as you've got women in the workplace. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be women in the workplace. Everyone should have equal opportunity in the workplace, but it should be based on meritocracy, and people shouldn't be attacking each other, and people who are found to be manipulative and sabotaging each other should just get asked out of the workplace. You watch how quickly women will pull other women into line, and you watch how quickly people will stop attacking. I'm just saying. Anyway, guys, what do you think about this video? I'd love to get your comments below. Make sure you smash the thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button below and smash the bell like Kate Mulvey, smash the wall. And if you want to support this channel, paypal.me/SydneyMGTOW, subscribestar.com/SydneyMGTOW, or patreon.com/SydneyMGTOW. And there's also crypto and other methods, all in the low bar below. I'm not going to go on about that, but I really encourage you guys, anyone that continuously talks, especially your parents, you know, the parents who are like, oh no, there's definitely a glass ceiling for women. I want you to show them this video. Or if you don't think they'll like this video, show them the article. Let them read it for themselves from another woman. #believe women. Because that's what I did today. And I believe this woman when she says that other women create the glass ceiling. I'm out of here, guys. I appreciate you all. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.